Hello, this is Hannah, again from H. Clay Corner, my YouTube channel. I have another character introduction for today. My first one was with Staccato, the clown, and now we have Moon Man. Not the most creative title. I was really just thinking about the story of the man on the moon. Not really sure if the man on the moon is a legend. Maybe I should have looked it up. But there is this kind of idea that if you look at the moon in a certain way, it's supposed to look like a profile of a man. So I kind of ran with that idea. What if there was an actual man on the moon and he was just kind of the spiritual embodiment of the moon? And then I was thinking, what if it was an astronaut or a guy from ancient times who somehow had the technology to get to the moon? He's just been living there for centuries, for eons almost. I had a design for his human version where he was tall and thin and had red curly hair, and now that his spirit has been infused with the moon spirit, like, I guess think of Avatar: Last Airbender if you want to, with Princess Yue kind of turning into the moon spirit to kind of give back to the moon for saving her when she was a baby. Nothing quite like that. It's not quite like that. It's just this unfortunate guy who ended up on the moon and discovered the moon spirit and through some circumstances fused with it. So you see me here sketching him out. I could talk a bit about this pose. He is very floaty, and you can see it in his hair as well. He's a very floaty, limber kind of character. Here, I think he's probably dismounting. He's probably floated around the planet or the moon for a while and is coming back to touch the earth, to touch the moon. You'll see me later. I'm going to add a little shadow underneath to kind of create that effect. So it kind of makes me think of a ballerina almost. The pose is also kind of like a jazz dancer from the 20s. Kind of a interesting pose. He's actually, what was in my head in the beginning, I remember it now, he's supposed to be like leaning up against a wall. So you've ever seen in cartoons where characters would lean up against an invisible wall trying to kind of look cool? But because I have his right hand kind of posed more in front towards us, now it kind of looks like he's trying to catch his balance. In that, I think he's dismounting, or he's planting his feet back on the moon after jumping super high, or whatever reason you get off the moon. His hair there, did I already say his kind of human counterpart has that curly hair, so it was a trait that kind of comes back to him, or that he keeps. He has this line split down his middle, from the middle of his head down his torso, because just like the moon has different phases throughout the month, he kind of follows that. So if the moon is almost full but is not quite full, it kind of takes on that kind of oblong, sort of weird egg kind of shape. He only has a strip of black kind of down his eye, and the rest of it's white. When it's a full moon, then he is all white. When it's a new moon, then he is completely dark. So the moon is all in shadow, and he is too. He does have a story. His is a little less interesting than the female counterpart to this story. The female, and we'll show a picture of her in a minute, she is a modern day astronaut with a death wish. She crash landed on the moon, and her goal, her determination pretty much is to fall into a black hole to experience it for herself. She might have a story where her brother was also an astronaut and died in a black hole. Right here we have one of my earlier kind of designs of him. That kind of cross-hatching on his body is something that has been consistent. Here I was looking at reference poses of guys without their shirts on, and I was trying to kind of capture that. Here we see that female astronaut, her ship crashed. I was experimenting with what kind of powers he might have, probably telekinesis, holding the cosmos in his hands and being able to kind of have a microcosm of the galaxy. This is my female character. I don't have a name for her yet. My least favorite part of the drawing process and creating stories and everything is coming up with names for characters. I'm always thinking like, oh, that name's been used too much, or I can't name her Rachel because that's Batman's girlfriend, or that name's already been taken. It's really hard to find unique names, I think. I kind of prided myself on Staccato's name, Staccato the Clown. I felt like that was a wholly original idea, but what can I do with Moon Man? Like, you might have seen in parentheses, I had Manny, like maybe this female astronaut, maybe she just ends up calling her Manny because he's the man on the moon. I don't know. So here I'm adding some light and shadow. I filled in his darker side with just a little bit of value and starting to look with the shadow underneath to make it look like he's hovering. And I'm going to be painting in the dark background after all this. Now, the female astronaut, her kind of deal is that she is a seeker of truth and knowledge, and she is really interested in black holes. And I've been interested in black holes for a little while too, and how they kind of worked, the spaghettification of things going into it was something that I thought was really interesting. Just kind of that bending and warping of time and space, and just the inevitability of destruction when you go into a black hole, supposedly, and how it's like a key to time travel, and how there's just so much mystery of black holes. And like now we have a picture of a black hole from NASA. That's pretty cool, I suppose. I think Interstellar, that movie, it kind of talked a bit about black holes too. Obviously, I haven't really studied much about them. Like, it's just that shrouded in mystery that I'm super interested in. So, I was thinking this female astronaut, she's on this trip to find a black hole, and she wants to fall into it. She wants to just get out of the spaceship, just her in her spacesuit, and she just wants to see what happens when she falls into a black hole. And whatever consequence it brings, death, whatever, she's okay with, because she learns the truth for herself, or she does her best to experience it for herself. Even if the experience is just like, oh, I died instantly because my body can't handle being spaghettified. You know, at least she died knowing what the truth is. I find that kind of noble in a way. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Again, my channel is called H Clay Corner. I will probably draw this female character again now that I've kind of introduced her as well.